it is Grace Wethor, and I'm a 15-year-old actor and model, and I live here in sunny Los Angeles, California. When I was growing up, I lived in Minnesota. I was always a very creative child. I got in trouble a lot for talking in class because I always wanted to be creating something or doing something super exciting. That led me to making movies in the middle of English class. I was just not into what everyone else was into. And I think that was when I really realized that I was born to be in an industry like this. I was super busy. I was doing every sport you could imagine. I was going to school, and that was basically my whole life. I would wake up, go to school, go to sports, do homework, go to bed, wake up, and do it all again. And Saturdays and Sundays were full sport days too. When I was 13 years old, on January 9th, I was at the Children's Hospital because I was having really bad headaches and I was just kind of out of it. I was just really tired and I just wasn't my usual self. I did an MRI and I left the hospital, thought everything was fine and dandy, and then like 10 minutes later, like, yeah, you guys need to come back. I was actually diagnosed with a brain tumor inside the brainstem, which is more formally known as a brainstem glioma. Most of the time when people are diagnosed with brain tumors, they are easily accessible, but the brainstem is not really a place that surgeons want to kind of dabble around in because it is the part of your brain that controls basically everything your body does. So unfortunately for me, the surgery was not an option, and chemotherapy has a very slim chance of working because it's inside the blood-brain barrier, and radiation has a very small chance of working as well for the same reason. Basically after that, my option was just to stay at home and try to make myself feel better because there wasn't any traditional medicine that would heal me at the moment. I decided, well, I could be sitting at home or sitting in a hospital doing nothing, or I could be doing something I love. There's no reason for me to be here if there's no treatment they're giving me, so I decided to go for it. And luckily I have amazing family and friends who were able to support me through the whole thing, and I moved to LA. That was such an amazing experience. It kind of happened overnight. It was so random. I signed with my manager and my agent. It was such a fast process, and I think that's what I really learned is you can put things off for 10 years, but the minute you need to like fully go for them, things are just gonna take off. You just have to trust that everything is gonna happen the way it's supposed to, because most people would be like, oh, well, you had a brain tumor, that's not exactly like the best thing to happen to you. But if I was never diagnosed with a brainstem glioma, I would not be sitting here talking to you guys about my life right now. I would be in Minnesota, probably going to high school and doing sports. That would be my life. What I'm trying to say is, don't take hurdles as a step backwards, take them as a step forward, because as soon as you jump over those obstacles, you're on your way. You're gonna fly through life. And I think that was something I really had to learn, because when I was diagnosed, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I guess that's just gonna be your whole story now. But that's not what I wanted my story to be. I didn't want to be the girl who was diagnosed with a brain tumor at age 13 and that was her life. I wanted to be Grace Wethor, the actor and the model and the creative person that got to create things. You can choose what you want to be. If you want to be here in LA in the entertainment industry, or if you want to be a fashion designer in Paris, or if you want to be a video game designer, you can be anything you want to be. There are unlimited amount of things you can do, and you can create whatever you want. It's amazing what you can make out of something. My life would be completely different if I didn't have this one roadblock. I didn't want this to be the end of my story, and so I just went for it. And you guys should too. If I could leave you guys with anything, it would be that you have the power to instigate change. You also have power over your own mindset, and all it takes is that little flip of a switch to say, hey brain, this isn't a negative thing. This is positive, because it's going to send me on a path that I love more, or it's going to introduce me to something new that I never knew I wanted to do with my life. If you truly just go for it and have the right mindset, it's amazing what you can create out of what some people would say is a bad situation. And I think that's something that our generation is really fortunate to be able to do.